Hello guys. Okay, so we're back again now. So in the previous video, we've showed you how to actually download the software. Just go through the installation procedure. It's really straightforward. I don't think I need to go through that with you guys. So once you've got it installed, obviously now you're going to actually open it all up. And this is effectively what you're going to see. So we have got our ECU powered up and plugged in. So you can see down the bottom here, we've got a connected status. Okay, obviously we're reading some data from bits and bobs over here. We've got battery voltage and everything. The battery's on charge, so hence why it's 14.3 volts. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to show you how to actually load a base map onto it. Now, bearing in mind we are on the beta version, which we get from the ECUMaster test website. So what I'm going to do now is effectively in the top corner here, you've got open projects. Okay. Now I've just downloaded this map. This actually is from the ECUMaster Facebook page. So there's a Facebook page for ECUMaster, sort of technical page, and there's a whole bunch of base maps on there. Base maps will give you some information, but obviously you'll see we're going to go through everything anyway. We'll do like a little setup video for our particular harness and make sure we've assigned the inputs and outputs correctly. So effectively all you want to do is go open that project. Now it'll say the open project will be written to the connected EMU device. Proceed. Obviously yes. Now, obviously, this little warning you get over here, this is because obviously we've got the most up-to-date firmware. You'll see the actual base map was created using firmware 2.081, so it's quite an old base map. So don't worry about that, because remember, we are going to go through everything and we're going to set all our inputs and outputs correctly. So effectively, that's what we're doing, is we're using a base map to get some values in. So for example, now if I had to go to my triggers tab over here, this is where all your crank and cam triggers and everything are set up. So this one's already set correctly. So you've got your sensor type as VR sensor. We've got the fact that it's a 36 teeth trigger wheel, and we've got the fact that it's got 2 missing. So it's a 36 minus 2, which is the JZ VVTi setup. It's got number of cylinders 6. The trigger edge is really important on the Toyota. If you wire it correctly as per the diagrams, you always need to select falling edge. So just make sure, that's one thing to check. If it's on rising edge, it's going to throw everything out. And we'll go through that when we do how to do base timing. We'll actually show you with the timing light exactly what happens if you go from falling to rising. I don't want to bore you guys, but basically it's just the way that the ECU picks up where the tooth is and how the degrees and how you set the base timing, etc. Going on to your secondary triggers, this is your cam trigger. Now again, it's already all set up here for you. We know it's a variable reluctance sensor, so that's fine. We can choose the trigger type, so you'll see there's a whole bunch down here. Now you've got the 2 JZ VVTi 3 teeth. Now what's nice with Toyota is that is a very common setup. So you've got the 2JZ VVTi 3 teeth for the cam sensor. You've also got the 1UZ FE VVTi, and that also works for the 3UZ. Oh, they have actually given you a 3UZ separately, apologies. But yeah, they're all effectively the same type of trigger tooth. So again, falling edge, and obviously that's all set up now. They do put your ignition outputs under your trigger setting as well. So this is designed for coilover plug. So you'll actually see that we have 6 ignition events, and we're using all 6 of our events. So you've got 1, 5, 3, 6, 2, 4. So this is what you set up to your firing order, and we'll go through all of that as we set up all the inputs and outputs. What we normally do on this side here when we send stuff out is we'll do the ignition angle lock. So that's you can lock your ignition angle. So we're going to set this up because obviously when we do the base timing, we're going to have to set it at 10 degrees. So when we're looking at the base timing, we know that we are correct. So just remember, once you get this and once you do your base timing, which you should always do first of all, just make sure that this is unticked. Otherwise, you're going to keep it on 10 degrees the whole time. And that's going to really confuse your tuner or yourself if you sort of running around and only getting 10 degrees and wondering why. Always come and look here. Okay, so that's it. That's effectively how you download a base map from there. Base maps, like I said, are useful for various pieces of information, but never rely on them to actually have all the inputs and outputs set correctly. We're going to do a video on going through this entire harness and actually setting all the inputs and outputs correctly. So I'm going to have my whole pinout in front of me, and we're going to go through one by one and set them all up. Like I said, there's going to be a few videos today because we're going to do everything from drive-by-wire to base timing to the whole 9 yards. So I'll just get this one out the way. So hopefully that's nice and simple. Next up, we're going to do how to update the firmware on your actual ECU. All right, so see you in a second. Bye-bye.